Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurave Sarvalokanam Bhije Pavrognam Dehe Sarvavidyanam Sri Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Kratunda Mahagaya Surya Kodi Samaprabha Nirvikram Guru Me Deva Sarvagari Sarvada. Gajananam Bhaganadevitam Gavidyam Bhagavatasarvakshitam Masadam Shokavinashakaranam Namami Vigneshwarapadapankajam Shuklam Bharadram Vishtam Vishivardam Chitabhajam Prasannavadram Dhyayet Vignavashante Vyasam Vishtanaptaharam Shakte Patranokalmasham Rajaratnam Deshukadadam Taponidhim Vyasaya Vishnarubhaya Vyasarubhaya Vishnave Namo Vai Brahmanadeva Vasishtaya Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Jaiva Nrottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamati. So you're looking at Vidura neeti. So Vidura was explaining importance of telling truth and also speaking uh, what is uh, good to hear. Okay, so we'll continue that. So Vidura says that a forest, if it is cut down, uh, it may grow, but if one's heart is wounded by ill-spoken words, it never recovers. Similarly, a weapon, arrows, bullets, or whatever darts, whatever it is that can be extracted from the body. But if a harsh word is spoken that's deep into the heart, that's one cannot take that out. So that's why words before one speaks, one should always think about it. So never discharge those harsh words, arrows of those harsh words into others. He also says that Devatas will give defeat to those persons who has senses not under control and who does these ignoble actions. Such persons, Devatas do not support him. And when intellect becomes dim, destruction is very near, and its wrong looks like right and firmly, and that sticks to the heart. So that means when buddhi, intellect doesn't work at that time, everything, all the wrong things feels right. So I want to do those things, I want to do that, and you always make the wrong decisions. And that's when devatas, the persons of who does not have the senses under control, devatas do not support such a person. So Yudhishthira Vidura here says that your buddhi, intellect is also clouded now, possessed of your sons, and consequence of that is the hostility with the Pandavas. And even though Pandavas have all the auspicious marks and everything, they are deserving to rule all the three worlds. Yudhishthira is always obedient and to your commands. Still, you don't support him. So Vidura says that let Yudhishthira rule the earth, and with all your sons, let him rule the earth. And he's having that great energy, wisdom, and he's the religion and prophet Dharmartha. He's very acquainted with those things. He's got kindness, sympathy, and he also has this reputation. So let him rule the world. So then Dhritarashtra says that, tell me more of these words. I'm very much here listening to, eager to hear from you. And Vidura says that going to Tirtha Yatras and taking holy baths in those places, kindness to all the creatures, these two are equal, but kindness is superior than the going to all the Tirtha Kshetras. So that's why kindness to all your sons, he says all your sons here. So he again repeats that Yudhishthira should be considered as his own son, not as Pandu's son. He says that kindness to all your sons will win you great fame. That's what you should look. And as long as a man's actions are spoken in this world, such long time, that person stays in the heaven. So he attains the heaven, and that such a person returns good actions of a man spoken in the world, such a long time, he lives in the heaven. So here Vidura then narrates the story of a discussion that took place, old story between Virochana and Sudanvan, with both uh, hoping to marry Kesini. We came across this story back in Sabha Parva when
same Vidura narrated this to Dhritarashtra. So this is probably the only story in Mahabharata which repeated as it is second time, uh, and it's narrated by the same person to the same person. So that time when Draupadi's uh, dress was pulled and she was crying, that time Vidura speaks and he says that you should treat your Yudhishthira and everybody as same as your sons and should not look for their wealth and things like that. So that time he narrates this discussion between Virochana and Sudanvan, and he narrates the same thing again here. There is slight difference in terms of the advice uh, story, but more or less it's the same, repeated same thing. So I'm going to quickly pass through this. So Kesini was arranged, a Swayamvara was arranged for a Kesini, and Virochana, who is son of Prahlada, he wanted to go there, and Sudanvan, who is who also wanted to go there. Sudanvan is a Brahmana, he wanted to go there, and Kesini asks Virochana whether if Sudanvan comes here tomorrow, will you be sitting in the same level as him, or will you be considering yourself as equal to him? And at that time, Virochana says that yes, I am equal or I am superior to him. I am Prahlada's son, so that's why I'm superior. And at that time, next, so Sudanvan comes next morning, and then they both argue who is superior. And Sudanvan says that father, son, Brahmanas of same age and equal learning, two Kshatriyas, two Vaishyas, two Shudras, they can sit on the same seat and same level. Except this, nobody others can sit together. Brahmanas again, same age and equal learning. Then only they can sit. If one is higher learning, another person should not sit same level as that person. Similarly, a Kshatriya should not sit the same level where a Brahmana is sitting. Similarly, Vaishyas and Kshatriyas or Shudras and Vaishyas and things like that. So there is this hierarchy. So he says that your father, so then one says that your father pays homage to me and he gives the seat he has occupied, he gives up that seat to me. You are his child, so you're born in luxury, you don't understand. So both of them argue and then they go to Prahlada himself, asking, Prahlada looking at both of them coming in anger. Then he realized something is wrong. He asks Virochana what happened, and then he says that there is no friendship between us, but we have challenged and we have put a bet that our lives on this line here. If if Sudanvan defeats me, I have to die. If I defeat him, he will die. So tell me who is superior among us. And so then immediately when Virochana says that, looking at Sudanvan coming, Prahlada worships Sudanvan. He gives him Madhuparka, honey curd, and everything else, cow and everything. And then he worships. And then Sudanvan says that all these things you presented is great, but tell me truly, who is superior among us? Is it your son or me? Then Prahlada says that this is my only one son, and you are present here in person. How can I answer this question? So which you both have quarreled each other. How can I answer? And Sudanvan then says that you should always declare truth. And then Prahlada asks, what happens to the person who says false, who speaks false things? So this is the only slight difference here compared to what happened in Sabha Parva. So in Sabha Parva, Prahlada goes to his grandfather, that's Kashyapa Rishi, and then Kashyapa narrates him what is the importance of telling truth. And here Sudanvan, he asks Sudanvan himself, and Sudanvan narrates. So what we can assume is Prahlada asked both of them. So one is quoted in the Sabha Parva, another one quoted here. Sudanvan himself says these things. So he says that the person that misuses its tongue suffers like a deserted wife, a wife given up by her husband, uh, and who is married a second wife. So that it feels like the wife who has been given up by the husband, and a person who lost in the dice, and the person who is living with a lot of anxieties. Such a things comes to those persons who tell false, who speak false, who speak untruth. And such a man is also to will be have to stay outside the city gates, will not be let into the cities inside the city, and he will have to starve there. And the one who speaks on account of an animal will cast down from heaven 5 of his ancestors. 5 generations of ancestors fall down from heaven by speaking because of a cow. And the one who speaks, animal, another animal. So, and then the one who speaks on account of cow uh, removes 10 generations, 10 of his ancestors. And then the one who speaks on behalf of horse, 100, and similarly on behalf for account of humans, 1,000, and untruth told because of gold, such person brings the entire race down from heaven. And the one who speaks untruth for uh, for these reasons, and even both born and unborn, everybody do not attain those things. And that's why untruth, if one speaks for the sake of a land, the sake of the land, it ruins everything, not just the family race, it ruins everything. So that's why never spoke untruth. And Prahlada then says that Angirasa, your father is superior to me, you are superior to Virochana, your mother is superior to Virochana's mother. So Virochana has been defeated, and as per the bet you had, Virochana has to die, but I request you to grant his life. And Sudanvan then says that because you have told truth, I will grant Sudanvan his life, but at Kesini's wedding, he has to come and wash my feet. So they agree to that, and Vidura then continues saying that Dhritarashtra, you also do not say the untruth for the sake of land, because if you listen what Sudanvan said, the worst of the lies is telling on for the reasons untruth is on because of the land, and that destroys everything, not just the all the ancestors and merit and everyone acquired in the race in the family, but it destroys everything. That's why he says that do not for the affection of land, for the affection of your sons, do not do that. Even devatas do not protect such a person, so do not do that. And he says there is no doubt that the one's object meets success with proportion of to attention of he directs dharma and morality, right? So righteousness and morality, one attention one gives, based on that success always comes. Vedas never rescue the sinful person who lives by falsehood. So even if dharma never rescues, even if one does a sacrifice, the person who is deceitful and false, addicted to falsehood, such a person is never rescued. And he says that there are paths which are sinful and should always be avoided, and those are drinking, quarrel, enmity with large number of men, connection with uh, uh, matrimonial disputes, and severance with relationship of husband and wife, internal dissensions, disloyalty to king, all these things, paths that are sinful. Similarly, then he says that there are 7 people who are incompetent to give as a witness. They are a palm reader, a thief who turned into a merchant, a fowler, a physician, enemy, friend, a uh, a musician or entertainer. All these people are incompetent to give a witness. Similarly, he says that there are 4 things that themselves are good, but if not done properly, they are very harmful. They are Agnihotra, performed with the might of motives of pride, and Mauna, not speaking anything, abstention from speech. So practiced again, similar motives, and study and sacrifice. Again, same motives. That is with pride. If one studies, our motive is to become known, famous, and those kind of things, study and sacrifice, then those again not good. So he says that the one who sets fire to a dwelling, uh, one administers the poison, a pander, the vendor of soma juice, the maker of the arrows, the astrologer, the one that injures the friend, the adulterer, the cause of abortion, the violator of Guru's bed, the Brahmana addicted to drink alcohol, the one that is sharp-speeched, the one rakes of the old sores or the old injuries and things like that. That means the harsh speech and things like that. The atheist, the reviler of Vedas, the one who takes bribes, the one whose uh, sacred thread has been delayed beyond the prescribed age. That means Upanayana is delayed beyond the given age, and the one who secretly kills the cattle, the one who uh, uh, kills him who came for protection. All these people, all these actions are equal to killing of a Brahmana. So he says that those are all the actions that are equal to killing of a Brahmana. Then he says the gold is tested by fire, whether it is good or bad quality, and well-born persons by deportment, how they behave, their conduct, the honest man by his conduct, and brave man is tested in the season of panic, and the one who is self-controlled is tested in the times of poverty, because when it is poverty, whether you can still remain controlled, whether you go and start stealing something and things like that, that's or whether you stick to your dharma, that's the self-control. And then the friends and enemies in the time of calamity and danger. So that's when you test. And it says that descriptive, the old age destroys beauty, ambitious hopes destroys patience, death, life, envy, righteousness, anger, prosperity, companionship with low people, good behavior, the companionship with low, all these skills, good behavior, lust, modesty, and pride destroys everything. So prosperity again takes away the birth of all the good deeds, because prosperity takes its birth in good deeds. So once you do good actions, then prosperity comes automatically. Similarly, it grows in consequence of activity. One is being active, and it drives its root deep in the consequence of skill. So, and it remains stable if one has the self-control. So prosperity's root starts with good actions, and continued action, it grows, and then it, because of the skill, it sustains, and then it becomes stable, one who has stability. Then he says that wisdom, good lineage, self-control, acquaintance with scriptures, knowledge of the scriptures, prowess, absent from hating others, gift to the extent of one's power, grace, gratefulness, all these 8 qualities gives lustre, that means gives fame to one person. Those who have all these things, it will give fame to them. Then but among all this, if one has a royal favor, king's favor, that's the most favorite one. That's the best one. That's the 9th one, and that's the best one. Then he says those 8 men in the world of men who are indications of heaven. So 8 things that take us to heaven. These 8 things, and then of the 8, 4 are inseparably connected to good people. There are 8 things that are it speaks about. 4 are connected to good people, and the other 4 are followed by the good people. The first 4 are always with the good people. They are sacrifice, gift, study, and asceticism. And the other 4, which are followed by the good people, are self-restraint, truth, simplicity, and ahimsa, abstention from injury. So the second 4 are followed. The first 4 are connected. So look at here. So sacrifice, gift, study, asceticism. This is something one does. Okay. So this is the actively doing something. So they are connected with the good people. And self-restraint, truth, ahimsa, all these things one actually inherits. So that's the conduct always one follows. So that's always followed by the good people. So sacrifice, study, charity, asceticism, truth, forgiveness, mercy, contentment, these are 8 paths to dharma, and the first 4 always practiced with the motives. First 4 may be practiced with the motive of pride, but the last 4 are that exist in one are truly noble. So sacrifice, study, charity, asceticism, one may do just as a show off for pride. But truth, forgiveness, mercy, and contentment, these are existent really in the truly noble people. And then he says that there is no assembly where there is no old men. So if the old men are not there, that's not an assembly, because you need to hear from the old men and their knowledge. And in the assembly where the old do not declare the morality, that's not an assembly as well. So that is not a morality which is separated from the truth, and truth which is fraught from decide. So the which in the if truth the if truth is aligned with the decide, then that is not truth. Similarly, truth, beauty, acquaintance with scriptures, knowledge, high birth, good behavior, strength, wealth, bravery, capacity of varied tax, all these are heavenly given. That means you get these from previous births. Okay, so the habit of those things, telling truth, beauty, um, knowledge of scriptures, uh, acquaintance with scriptures, knowledge, high birth, good behavior, all these things comes with previous things heavenly given. They're not something one could easily acquire. Then Vidura says the sinful persons always face up to evil consequences. Virtuous man always reaps great happiness, and sin, if repeated uh, always, then it destroys intelligence. And man who has lost intelligence always repeatedly commits the sin. Similarly, virtue, if repeated practiced repeatedly, it enhances the intelligence, and the man with intelligence always does the virtuous things. So, such a virtuous man, by practicing the virtue, goes to heaven and regions of uh, upper regions, and that man. So that's why he says that one person should always practice virtue. They, on the other hand, the one that is envious, he that injures others deeply, the one that is cruel, the one is constantly quarrels, the one that is deceitful, always meets great misery. And uh, if the opposite is true, such a person shines everywhere. And the person who is not envious, who is possessed of wisdom and good things, and such a person always shines everywhere. Then it says that the person who draws wisdom from the others that are wise, really learned uh, and wise. So the person that is actually uh, draws wisdom from the others who are actually learned, really learned, is the wise person. And also he is a wise person who, by attending virtue and profit, attending to virtue and profit, success in attaining the happiness. Then he says that uh, those who do during the day may enable, if one does some actions during the day, they may be able to spend night in happiness. Those who do during the 8 months of the year may be able to spend happiness during the rainy season. Those who do work and good things during the youth may ensure happy during the old age. Similarly, those who do uh, good things whole life, they live happily hereafter. So they attain good regions, blessed regions, and that's why they, one who does good things all life will benefit. So again, so it starts with the day, doing it good things during a day, and then it goes in a season, year, and then entire life doing good things and benefits of that. He also says that the wealth acquired wrongfully, uh, the wealth that is remain uncovered, and the all these things disappear. And similarly, a guru controls those who are under souls under control. King controls those that are wicked, and they that have sin secretly, done sins, and they know that they have done it, such a person is controlled by Yama himself. Then he says greatness of rishis, rivers, river banks, and high-souled men. The cause of woman's wickedness cannot be ascertained. So these are the things one cannot ascertain. Those are greatness of rishis, rivers, river banks, high-souled men, and why a woman became wicked. So Vidura then says the person who is devoted to worship of Brahmanas, that gives away gift to Brahmanas, and he that behave righteously towards his relatives, and the Kshatriya that behaves nobly, rules the entire earth forever. And the one that is possessed of bravery, that is possessed of learning, and he knows how to protect others. These are the three always able to gather the uh, great things from this earth. That means they attain fame and things, and the of the actions that one does, those accomplished by intelligence are the first one. Those accomplished with arms is the second. So if one does with intelligence something achieve success, that's great. If one does with labor through arms, that's secondary. That's second preference. If one done with thighs, that means a lot of effort. Then that's even more effort. That's the third. And one does with head, that means carrying the weights, bearing the weights on his head. That means lot of even more struggle. That's the very worst. So that's why intelligence is important. So he says that uh, Duryodhana, Shakuni, Dushasana, Karna, all these things, all these people, how can you have prosperity, have hope for prosperity for them? Pandavas, on the other hand, are virtuous, so give them the kingdom. And he then says a story of discussion between Atri's son and the Sadhyas. In the olden days, Sadhyas were questioned by son of Atri, and they told him that you know everything. So tell me, discourse on us the words of whatever you have learned. And the Rishi, Atri's son, uh, in the translation I got, it doesn't say the name, but in the Sanskrit shlokas, it says Hamsa Uvacha. So the name, it says Hamsa, but I'm not sure who the Atri's son Hamsa is, because normally we hear about Durvasa and others. I haven't come across Hamsa. So, but maybe so. Atri's son, he says that by untying all the knots in the heart by the aid of tranquility, and by master over all the passions and observance of true religion, one should regard both agreeable and disagreeable like his own self. So, like Atma, he should consider, and one should not return slander to those who hurt. So, if somebody speaks ill of you, don't go and hurt. And similarly, if one hurts you, don't go and hurt them. Don't humiliate. If someone humiliate you, do not quarrel with your friends. Abstain from companionship with those who are vile and low. Do not be arrogant and ignoble in conduct. Avoid the words that are harsh and fraught with anger. Harsh words, because just like Vidura said earlier, here he says that harsh words always pierce more, and they anger. They create deep injury in the heart, and that's why do not speak harsh words. The man that is wise speaks by another's word, sharp words. So he will suffer a lot, and that's why do not speak those words. And the Atri sons also says that the one who waits upon the good, and upon one that is wicked, one that is upon one that is possessed of ascetic merit, or one that is the thief, soon the color of that companion, color from that companion of his clothes also, his character also changes. So if you wait upon the good people, or the one possessed of ascetic merit, then you will gain the similar things. On the other hand, if you wait upon the wicked, and if you make friendship with a thief and things like that, you will also become a thief or a wicked person. And Atrisan also says that even Devatas look for his company who has stung with reproach but never returns it. So if one is injured, he never tries to injure the harm person. If one is hurt or spoken ill or humiliated and things like that, he does not go and injure the other person. Such a person is even desired by the Devatas. Silence, he says that better than speech, and if one have to speak, he should better speak the truth, and if truth is spoken, it better be said what is agreeable to the person, and what is agreeable to the said person should always be consistent with morality. So silence is better, and if you are going to speak, speak the truth, and if you are speaking truth, make sure that the listener, it is agreeable to the listener, and if it is agreeable, it should always be consistent with morality and dharma. It is consistent with what Shastra say. It should not go against that. Then he says that the man becomes exactly like him who lives. It's just like earlier he said, if you go with thieves, it becomes you get in that conduct of thieves, and that's why you should always wish to have good people around you and make friendship with the good people. The one that is freed from the things which one is freed from the things from one which abstains. So if you want to become free from something, you should always abstain from those things. And if one abstains from everything, he does not have, and he does not suffer any misery. So this is kind of uh, vairagya, sannyasa, giving up everything, saying that I don't want any of these things. So such a person, he is not defeated by anybody. He is not he not moved by somebody praising him or blaming him, or he does not have grief or happiness or joy or anything like that. So because he does not, and he has no attachments. He's not attached to anything, and he does not desire anything. And the man is regarded as the first of the species, the best of the species. So the one who wishes the prosperity for all the people and never sets his heart on the misery of others, and truthful in speech, humble in behavior, passions under control. Such a person is regarded as the best person, best man. The again, the one who is of as a medicor in goodness, who never consoles others by saying what is true, and who gives having promise, and then who keeps an eye on the other weakness of the others. Such a person is considered as a medical person. Then again, these are the indications of the bad man, who is incapacity to be controlled, liability to be afflicted by dangers, proneness to give away to wrath, ungratefulness, inability to become another's friend, wickedness of heart. All these things are the indications of the bad man. And he says that the one that desires prosperity for himself should wait upon the good people and wait upon them that are indifferent. Uh, and at times wait upon they are indifferent. So always wait upon those who are good people, but at times you may wait upon those who are indifferent. Indifferent means they're sometimes good, sometimes not so good, but never wait upon those that are bad people. He also, Atrisan also says that the wicked, uh, he that is wicked earns wealth. It is true by putting forth strength, by constant effort, by intelligence, and by prowess, but he can never win honest fame. So the wicked person who earns with all the other means, he will never acquire fame, and he will never acquire virtue, uh, and he will never be born in a high family. So then Dhritarashtra asks further questions, asking about high families or the Mahakulam, that means the high-born families. What is their characters and how they are regarded as both dharma, artha, how they, without deviating from dharma, artha, how they of great learning, how they do it, why they are called high family, high-born families, and Vidura then starts explaining. we will look at this part next time. Any questions?